Hello, my name is Travis Edwards. I'm here to present Economic Report number 2, and the article that I'll be presenting is the Management Revolution. Okay, a quick introduction. Uh, Performance evaluation are used to evaluate employee skills, achievements, and growth within the business. Managers use this document to justify pay increases, bonuses, or even termination decisions. Okay, the article that I drew this from, the Performance Management Revolution, it talks about the evolution of performance evaluation throughout the years, and it talks about how mainly what the article states the revolution is that they try to go away with performance appraisals or evaluations, and there are setbacks or challenges if the company goes away from it. All right, the evolution of performance evaluation. It all started with the U.S. military merit system rating. Uh, what this does is that it identified the poor performers for either discharge or transfer. So I guess during that time, you had to perform. If you didn't, they had to let you go. And then 60% of the companies adopted the system after World War II. And they used this system, this merit rating system, to have pay increases or promotions. And the stronger the scores that you have, meant investment into manager or even executive positions. All right. In the 60s, the evaluations was used for employee development. And what this means is that they use the evaluations to, I guess, develop through guidelines, I guess, criterias for employees into supervisors, into managers or supervisors to executives. So mainly it was just used for that purpose. But during that time, they felt as though that the supervisors were reluctant to classify or distinguish between poor performers or good performers. So the evaluations were split into two separate categories, accountability and development. And during this time, companies in the 70s went away from development and went to accountability. And accountability meaning that you really had to perform at your job. And if you perform really well, you'll be able to get the raises or, you know, uh, cost of living. And if you don't perform, you get a pay cut. And that's usually how it went during that time. And also, uh, the article also states, kind of sped it up here, but they also have that during that time of accountability, they had ratings A, B, and C, which is A players get rewarded, B players get accommodated, and C players get dismissed from the job. So that led to a lot of discrimination and stuff going on in the workplace. And, it went back to development over the years, and it constantly flip flop between accountability and development depending on what the company or the firm wants you to do. Okay, challenges for replacing the valuations because they talks about the revolution, performance revolution. That's the whole article, and they say how most companies get away from dropping appraisals. So they give you a couple of reasons, the challenges that companies face when dropping evaluations. Hard to Hard for employees to align to company goals. Usually what that means is that uh, the appraisal gives you the company goals, and they want you to follow those guidelines or those criterias or categories, and that's how they base you on your appraisal. But now it's kind of hard to do that because, now it says that in the ever-changing world of the markets, people do different projects, so it's hard to kind of gauge what the company wants to be at the time. Reward and performance. They say how this one is hard because that's what you use to reward somebody during the appraisals or evaluations. So HR has a hard time of trying to reward a performance if there isn't no documentation available. And also that goes in context with the identifying poor performers. You can't identify the poor performers if you don't have the documentation to prove that, hey, you've been performing, the numbers wasn't adding up. And avoiding legal troubles. And that means that leads back to discrimination. Like if you don't have any documentation to back up that you're a poor performer, they could have a legal lawsuit saying that you're just discriminating against me or whatever. So that could be a problem. Okay, conclusion. Evaluations give employees feedback on their performance as it aligns with company goals. All right, according to the article, evaluation was used for development and accountability. And Revolution says that, like the article states, that most companies are replacing evaluations and they're still working challenges to replace the performance evaluations and how it fits in their company. And I'd like to thank you, and this concludes my presentation.